Have you ever had a funny idea for a conference talk, and 2 months later it's 1 week before the conference and you've actually got to come up with the goods, and what you thought was really funny 2 months ago, suddenly you're worried that no one else is going to find it in the least bit funny. But you know, conferences are funny things. You know, you're going there and you're learning all about programming and it's very technical, and every so often you need a breather. You know, you've worked out that all your objects now have class, all your pipes are smoking hot, and most importantly you're at the stage in the conference where you're wondering what the ingredients in a Larry Wool banger might be. So, if you ever seen the movie Inception, it's about going into dream-like states. You go into this dream world via the subconscious, and the only way that you can tell whether you're in the dream world or in the real world is by spinning a spinning top. And if the spinning top falls over, it means you're awake in the real world. And if the spinning top stays up, it means you're in the dream world. So I thought we'd do a little experiment during the talk. I'm just going to start a little spinning top up there. This is a Raku cup of justice. It's also known as a Pythagorean cup. It dates back Greek times at least. Whether Pythagoras had anything to do with it, I think, is debatable. There are no written records that Pythagoras wrote. Whether he invented Pythagoras' triangle. No. Anyway, the idea behind the Raku Cup of Justice was you wanted to make sure that, say, your soldiers who'd been soldiering diligently all day and were waiting for their cup of wine got a fair cup of wine at the end of it, but you didn't want to reward them if they overfilled their cup. So they came up with this. It's made from Raku pottery, which immediately makes it a little bit suspect as to how authentic it is for Greek times, but maybe it was reimagined by people using Japanese pottery techniques. Japanese Raku dates to the 16th century. So the cup has a hole at the bottom, it has a stick in the middle, and it has these lines near the top which indicate where you can fill it up to and still have wine. So if we take a bottle of wine and fill it up, let's see what happens. So if we fill it to under the W lines, you know, happy days. We can sip out of it, no problem. If we fill it up a little bit more, above the W line, suddenly starts coming out the bottom. Furthermore, we can't even stop it. You know, it's like we can't tip it on its side. Even if we tip it so far that liquid's coming out, liquid's still coming out the bottom. We could try and drink as much of it as we could before the rest of it escapes. But basically, we've lost a lot of wine because we were greedy and we tried to overfill the glass. So, there's a little bit left at the bottom. But, what's happening? Well, first thing to notice is there are two holes at the bottom of the big spear in the middle. And what's happening is, inside that, we have an empty cylinder. And over the top of it, if you imagine this is the green outside of the cylinder, we have that. And then we lift it up and we've got a hole at the bottom of the cup. So as the wine fills up, it doesn't get to the top, so it doesn't spill over and come out the bottom. But once it gets up to the top, it goes over the top, and then you get this suction effect, like you're siphoning petrol or the S-band in a toilet, and the liquid continues to come out. And that is how the Raku Cup of Justice works. And look,